something about them. It's just a thought. Whatever happened to Mary Adams?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She's a bad penny. She keeps showing up.
Okay. We know Jack Altman's gone, right?
Yeah.
His
Jim
son
Art.
is working. His youngest son is working in New York in the hotel business.
Well, I always love to be around Jack.
Hi, Ricky.
I tell you.
Correct.
Jim Artley. Jimmy Artley. Mark Baker.
Beans.
Does anybody know?
Last time I heard
Yes.
Mark, he was like one of the head guys at the Savannah River Nuclear Power Plant.
Yes.
With his finger on the trigger. Seriously. That scared me so bad I hadn't seen him since then.
Well, that's great. So that's near Augusta, right? Okay. Joanne Brandt. She is in Savannah. Where in the heck is she?
She's a psychologist. She lives on Dutch Island.
Her husband owned Wet Willie's, like a lot of Wet Willie's all over the place.
Jay
I
Bousquet.
went to her house the night of the senior day.
Senior day when we drove in on the tractor and stole the cow.
And when we cut down Mr. McKenzie's tree.
I want to say I was not there. I was not there. Not part of any of that. That's goody two-shoes.
Well, I always wanted to go there because they.
I was, and Scott Richardson made me go to the principal and confess. Everybody else confessed, and I refused to confess.
I drug you there by the hair. Huh?
You did, because they said nobody can leave school forever for the rest of your life until they all confess. And Scott said, "You are confessing."
True confession, eliminations is hard, right? I said I couldn't have done it. I was playing a banjo. Oh my goodness.
So where are you
All right. Where is Jay Bousquet?
Did you?
Last time I saw him, he was taking the census. That was 10 years ago, 11 years ago.
I didn't hear what you said.
I don't know, he was doing the census last time I saw him.
The last
He
I saw
actually
him.
forced me to smoke pot at 27 years old. One and only time. I had body dissociation, and I said, obviously this doesn't work for me.
I saw Jay about, I don't know, 16, 17 years ago. I was in Savannah visiting. I was between husbands, I think. And we went out on a few dates.
You did?
Did you? Yes.
Oh my God, do tell.
It was later. Okay. Robert Buckholz.
Robert evidently has had some health problems and has moved up to the northeast. I don't know really anything more than that. Does anybody know?
No, I tried to call him. I talked to him like about 5 years ago when he was still living on Wilmington Island. He was being a soccer dad, but he's since divorced, and that's all I know.
He was married to Marie.
Right. Well, he sure was a cute-looking guy.
Wasn't he? I remember that.
What about? Oh, yeah, I know what happened to Rick Biegner. Charles Daly. No. He lives where? Atlanta. Atlanta. Oh, Charles Daly lives in Atlanta. He can stir up some trouble. In the best sort of way. Dickie Depkin. Where's she? Dickie Depkin. Dickie. Yes.
Yeah, Dickie has a horse named Romeo. He's the love of her life, and he lives at my sister Eleanor's home.
No.
And so I've seen Dickie a lot lately.
And she lives in Hilton Head.
She lives in Bluffton, but she wants to relocate to near Statesboro.
Yeah.
And she's very happy. She's great.
Good.
She's just the same.
Okay, what happened to Tad Dunn? I mean, I was smarter than he was, but I just wonder what happened to him.
No, Ricky's going to do it.
Where?
He's in Wilmington, North Carolina, I think.
A physician?
Physician surgeon. Does he? Yeah.
I was going to be one. I know. I don't know what happened. Those twists and turns of life. Sarah and George Freeze. He died.
Rest in peace. Cheeks McFreeze.
I remember he was at the tent. I just remember that. Okay, Grant Goldenstar.
Does he go by Butch or Grant?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, I forgot. I'm sorry. Butch Goldenstar.
Yosemite during the week. She's doing something scientific with geology, and she says to say hello to everybody, and I'm going to email her tonight.
Byron Hack. What happened to him?
Hilton here. Yeah.
I visited Byron about 10 years ago before they cut up his plantation. He was living at Honeyhorn, and he had been raising racehorses and doing a bunch of weird things. And he was happy, but he kind of kept it to himself.
Well, I'm glad you know all that. Sandy Hale.
I talked to her. She wanted us to be here.
Does she live here?
Oh, yeah. Yep, I found her. I don't know her married name, but I found her.
Well, and you talked to her.
Sandy works at Betsy's Hallmark on Whitmarsh Island.
Okay.
And I left her messages and messages.
Lucy Gogi Huff.
Gogi was going to come. Gogi used to live up in New York, and she's moved to South Carolina, but they had family plans this weekend, so she couldn't come. She also says hello to everybody.
I remember her at the tent. That's the last time I saw her. David Kelly.
I'm sorry. She worked at Lowe's.
Now here.
So he moved to Atlanta, and I couldn't find him.
Oh, he's in Savannah now?
I don't remember David.
Okay, because I saw him in Lowe's in Atlanta. He was working up.
Where's Linda LeMay?
At a wedding in Atlanta, she really sends her regrets.
Linda is out of town.
She had a family wedding.
Nancy McLean.
Supposed to be here.
I didn't get invited. I don't know.
Frank McNeil.
I talked to Frank.
I left him. Frank McNeil.
He's a contractor here in Savannah.
He's out of town this weekend. He had a family something.
Always like.
Looks.
I saw
Frank. We were
Like he
flying
did.
down with our
They
kids
did.
on a missions trip to Belize, and he was on the same flight going down there. He's been down there a number of times building homes or orphanages or something, but he's in construction. Looks great. Looks
He
the
was the
same.
senior warden of Christ Church here a few years ago. I
Really?
think.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to Wayne Mercer, but she looks cute in this 10th grade. Nothing. Catherine Otto.
And she went back to med school, became a psychiatrist.
Now, she was another one that I was smarter than. I don't know how she is a doctor either. It's ridiculous. All right, Patricia Ray.
She apparently has a very successful, some sort of business, and she's flying to Atlanta for a magazine spread. She does something with home decor.
Well,
It's all
Johnny
about
Reeves.
sex, drugs, and rock and roll. I don't want to hear that.
He's working for Great Dane Trailers. He's got
Brooke.
Brooke, right.
He went to Brooke. Well, it wasn't when I knew him. I'm calling Johnny.
But he seems to be doing fine.
Excuse me.
He seems to be doing fine. He
Okay.
sends his regrets.
He was a sweet guy. LaBruce Richardson, Brucey.
In the blue. It's Mary Adams.
Years ago, I went to her house. I probably just went up and knocked on the door because she lived. At that time, she lived in the house she grew up in. And I don't know.
I've heard she's still in Savannah.
I tried that because you did it.
Melanie Robertson. Gosh, you remember her? Y'all remember her?
No. Never
Well,
heard of her.
yes, you will.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you will. She was very quiet. Tish Rumsey.
Tish is in Athens, and I was in touch with her. I ran into her at AJ's, the marina down at Tybee last year, and I had to track her down, but I emailed her, and she said she just didn't think she could get away, but she says hello to everybody.
I see her sometimes in Athens because I go.
Oh, and also, he's not in here, but I emailed Nathaniel Lippett,
Oh,
and Nathaniel is teaching school in West Georgia someplace.
Really?
He's teaching 8th grade math.
Oh my God.
And
he was mighty cute. I mean, he's paying for his sins if he's teaching 8th grade. Gary Simpson.
Gary's in Atlanta.
he's in Atlanta. He's supposed to tell everybody hello. He had another obligation.
I think he's teaching at Kennesaw State.
What's he teach? He's a grandfather too.
I don't remember, or he didn't say.
He was in engineering or something, wasn't he?
I don't know.
Or
Gary
archaeology, or-
and Johnny and I were going to get together since they weren't going to be able to come, and Gary got pneumonia, and so we had to cancel it. We're going to reschedule it, so I didn't end up getting together with him. By the way, if you passed, I don't know if you passed Ray Collins, the subject of Ray had come up, and Gary and Johnny had gone to see him in Augusta. And Ray, unfortunately, about a month ago, he had been on Coumadin, decided himself to go off of it, had a stroke, and is paralyzed over half of his body, and they said is not in good shape. Is in Augusta in some type of convalescent facility.
Henry Stevens, I know I heard
He's here in town. He's at a big to-do at Ford Plantation this week that he's in charge of.
And somebody
he sends his
son
greetings
got
to
married
everybody.
last weekend. And
Where's Holly Tyson? She lives here, doesn't she?
Holly has a house at Tybee. She lives in Tennessee, but she has a house at Tybee. And she was here like 2 weeks ago.
Holly Tyson.
And because she was just here and is back in Tennessee, and her husband is sick or had surgery. So
He was the one that had those amazing science fair projects. And,
Who's that?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Gus Omler.
Oh, Gus.
Astronomy at Yale.
He was old.
The head of
Yeah.
Carnegie.
And I don't know if you remember, but I had an old Volvo it was kind of round, and I waxed it, and it was real shiny and slippery. And Bobby was on one side, and I forget who was on the other side, and we were looking for hogs.
The hunting's good. Let's talk
hunting
about
was good. And then I tapped on the brake a little bit just to give them a scare, and they both slid off, and then I ran right over them. Oh my God, I just ran over my two best friends. So I walk out, and Bobby's laying prone like this with the wheel right between his crotch. I stopped just in the nick of time.
Oh my God.
So then we go to play basketball. We brush our teeth, we rinse our mouths out and everything. We go play basketball. 10 minutes into practice, we smell like breweries because we're sweating. And just BJ never knew it, but I confessed to him a year ago.
Did that kill him?
No, he laughed.
Well, I got to know Charlene as a student and as a faculty at Country Day. So there was no girls track at Country Day when we were there. We had all we had is the green and gold day, the 100-yard dash. That was it. So Charlene makes me coach track. So I'm out there, run girls, run. We did win the state.
Wow.
Due to her, not to me. I really had to run girls. When I came to Country Day, she looked at me, and I was thinking how when my girls were at Country Day, you had to start competing for basketball in the 3rd grade. You had to go to the Y, you had to get coaching, you had to do all this stuff so you could play basketball at Country Day. And I went to the school education. You're tall, you will play basketball. No chance, no choice,
And you were great.
Oh, no. And Bill Saunders would go, jump, can't you jump? I don't have to jump, all I have to do. And then I also had to coach middle school basketball when I was teaching. Now, when I played basketball at Country Day, we had the wonderful game of 3-on-3. And girls did not have the physical endurance to play full court basketball.
Well, they weren't allowed to sweat either.
It might damage us to play full court basketball. So I would get all I could do was block. I couldn't shoot. I just had to stand there and block and pass. And so I had nothing to do but jump. And Bill Saunders would go, jump, man, jump! I just adored Charlene. I adored Bill too, but I had much more interaction with Charlene than I had.
Well, Bobby, I know you have Mr. Athlete of the City, as I vaguely remember. Tell it all.
If it's a small enough pond, you can be a somewhat large fish.
Go ahead.
Well, it is interesting thinking about Bill, because seeing him over the years, my memory was much fonder than when you start thinking about some of those times when I think you get pretty angry at him. He'd get on you, or you weren't starting, and you'd get yanked out. And he always had a tendency to do something that bothered me. He would, when he talked to you, he'd get in your personal space. He would get way too close. And then in football, he'd grab your face mask and pull you in, and you could tell what he had for his last meal. And and I just remember him getting in my face and just wanting to get the heck out of there. It wasn't any fun. But I think over time, all of us probably appreciated some of the teachers, coaches, and certainly Bill Saunders developed a real appreciation for who he was as a man and his compassion and caring, and Charlene and all they devoted to the school. And you know, back in those days, and when you look at him, I think to us he was just kind of a Kentucky country guy and lived in this tiny little house over by the school, and you know, it just, you know, wasn't terribly impressive, but what he devoted to the school, his pouring into us, 31 years there, pretty amazing. So.
And also a fabulous math teacher.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the best math teachers I ever had.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, Helen's family